Hey everyone, it's your friend Think Noodles, and welcome to Ask Think number 83 for Monday, January 6th, 2014, the first Ask Think of 2014, because the last one was the last Ask Think of 2013, so accordingly, you guys get the point. Alright guys, now you're probably wondering how many likes were on last week's episode, although you can probably look that up. But, and you'll want to know who's closest, so it was 1,822 likes, and the person that got the closest was NyanCat9027 with 1,813 likes, and I want to set a like target on this Ask Think. Let's try and break 2,000 likes again. I know you guys can do it. Show your support. Click that like button. Now, before we get to the questions, make sure to leave your question in the comments below so I have something to answer next week. Remember, only one question per comment, but you can leave as many comments as you like. Also, if the comments on this Ask Think are closed, go to the most recent Ask Think and ask your question there. Now, on to the questions, and the first one is from 1999 Blue, and he asks, can I be the first question to be asked in 2014? Why, yes, you can. Now, a bunch of people are asking about New Year's video and about the core, and yes, for my New Year's video, my Happy Noodle Year video, if you guys didn't see it, and thank you for responding and stay chubby. Oh, because it's Chubs, got it. I now have a public server that I co-own. It is the core. I'll put a link in the description, but it is coremc.us. We've got a bunch of original game modes there, and we're going to be adding the Hunger Games very, very soon. And for Tiff Brackets says, think I can't play Blockades. It is only for members on the core. Well, that's not entirely true. Non-members can play. We've got 6 servers or game servers for it right now. And we're going to be increasing that. But currently you can play. But if there are premium members, they might bump you out. But you can keep trying and you will get in and you can still play. Me, myself, and I, 91578 says, think I love your videos so much. Thank you very much for spending your time to entertain us. Now to the question. Since you have your new server, I wanted to show my support and get your skin, but I don't know where to get it. So where can I? Fix it, Think, please. Put on Ask Think. All you have to do is go to thinknoodles.me, and there's a link on my channel page for it. I think if you click the About, you can go to thinknoodles.me, and I'll put a link in the description as well to my website, and you can get both the my version, the male version of the skin, and there's also a girl version of the skin, and you can put those on and go ahead and put your skin on and show your support. Cat Nutella Game says, think, what are the requirements for having a good comment? Because I really want one of my comments on Ask Think. Well, you got lucky that I chose this one to give everyone a sort of a guideline on what's a good comment, because a lot of people don't know. And a good question is one that's really interesting, something that you really, really want to know the answer to, and something you think probably someone else might not have asked before. Edmund Quee says, think your sub fan base is growing. So when you reach about 200,000 subscribers, what will you be calling them? Sky calls his subs recruits, etc., etc. What will you be calling us? Well, right now I still call you guys my subs or my subscribers. I still haven't thought of really anything that's caught my eye. I mean, Noodle Army I've heard before, but I think somebody else uses that, and I don't know. I haven't thought of anything that didn't sound a little weird and really stood out to me. I just haven't thought of it yet, but I know you guys will come up with something because you guys are really smart, and you always come up with the really, really exciting, funny things, and I know you guys can do it. Ariana Zanelli says, think, are you going to make an iTouch case on your t-shirt shop? I don't have an iPhone, so I can get the iPhone case. By the way, good luck on UHC. Well, UHC is over, and thank you for the well wishes, and I think I did pretty well. I was happy with my performance. As far as an iTouch case, I will get to work on adding new cell phone cases and tablet cases to the t-shirt shop. Luca Fiske asks, do you like Marmite? Well, I have never tried Marmite, but I tried Vegemite, and I'm sorry, but I didn't like it. The next two people ask about a P.O. box and fan mail. I do have a P.O. box, but I'm having trouble with it right now. I sort of tested it out with someone, and the post office gave me the wrong zip code, and usually that doesn't make much difference. in a small town, but in New York, it makes a huge difference. So it got sent back, and they're sending it again. And assuming that it goes through, then I will announce my P.O. box on Ask Think. Ana Melgarejo says, Think, how do you read your comments? Most recent to first or the other way around? Noodle-on. I always go to the oldest comments and then work my way to the most recent. Albieri Zamora says, Hey, Think, what was the barber's reaction when he or she cut your wife's hair that touched the floor? Also, I want to tell you I love your videos. Well, it was I guess he's a stylist. He's not a barber. And when he cut her hair, he said it was by far the longest hair he'd ever cut. The Only Dead Chicken asks, will you ever use your subreddit? Well, yes, guys, for those of you who are on Reddit, there is a subreddit created that's /r/thinknoodles. But, you know, the way a subreddit works is you guys are supposed to use it, and I'm sort of a moderator and I check on it. Someone else created it and made me a moderator, but it's supposed to be for you guys to use and for me to check in and interact once in a while. John Williamson asks, did you want to move to New York? You have 3 seconds to answer. 1, 2, 3. Well, originally, no. Not when I first started dating my wife, but after a while, my wife said, you know, one day I want to live in Manhattan. And I was still in California at the time, and Manhattan was a super crazy, busy, annoying place. And I said, you want to live in Manhattan? This might not work. I don't think I can handle living there. Visiting, okay, but living, I don't think this is gonna fly. But you know what? After living here and moving here, I mean, by the time we made the decision to move into the city, I already knew that I wanted to live in the city. But it took a while for me to come around, and once I lived here, man, I don't know there are many other places I would want to live. Amber Rose says, Hey, Think, have you ever seen the documentary Blackfish? If you haven't, it's about keeping whales in captivity at SeaWorld and other marine parks. It's really sad, and I highly recommend watching it if you haven't. That's interesting because that is a suggested movie on Netflix for me, so I will definitely check it out based on your recommendation. Tiffany Hovorka says, Hey, Think Noodles, hello, yoo-hoo! You never told me you were a lefty or that your favorite number is 27. I'm both a lefty and that's my favorite number, so tell me, why is it that your favorite number is 27? Well, I don't really know why. It's not like I think that number is a nice round number because it's odd. It's not really rounded. And, you know, it doesn't add up to an even number. Even 2 + 7 is 9. You know, I really don't know why. But when I say something like I try and pull a number out of the air and not a number like a billion, but a number to say, oh, there's a bunch of people in line, I would probably go to 27. I would say, oh, God, the line was super long. It was like 27 people in line. And that would just come off. I don't know why that number, when I pull out a random number to be a large number of people, that's what comes out. I really don't know why. Katie Smith says, Think, I'm so mad at myself. I was going to spend the night at my friend's house, but ended up going home. I'm so sad. Anyways, what is your best advice for facing a fear? So I'm assuming that your fear was spending the night at a friend's house. And that is really, really interesting because, well, at least to me, and maybe this had nothing to do with it, but I think it does. I think that's why you asked the question with it. I had the same fear the first time I was going to spend the night at my friend's house. I was in 4th grade, so I was 10 years old, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it would have been 10 years old in 4th grade. And I was supposed to stay over at this guy's house. They were twins and they were very, very popular. So it was kind of an honor to stay at their house and to be invited over. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going over to the popular kid's house. And we had fun in the afternoon. They had this awesome tree house that had like a TV and air conditioning in it. I mean, it was pretty impressive. And it came nighttime and I did not want, I was, for some reason, it was the first time spending the night away from home. I mean, other than with my grandparents or something like that, but without family. And I kind of freaked out. I mean, I didn't cry or anything, but I had their mom call my mom so I could get on the phone with her because we didn't have cell phones at the time or anything like that. I couldn't just pick up my cell and text my parents or anything like that. We had to call home phone to home phone because I'm old. And we had to call over to my parents' house and say, Mom, come get me. I can't do this. And I went home. Later on, I got used to it and spent the night at other people's house, and it was totally fine. And you'll get over it too. But just try again. Widgie6 says, I love recording and talking for YouTube, but whenever I do presentations at school, I don't like the people watching me. Does that sound normal? Yes. Believe it or not, I remember I had to take speech class when I was in college. That was one of the required courses for my major. I had a really hard time with it, considering I speak to you guys all day long. That's what I do now. I had a really hard time with the class. For probably 2/3 of it, I had a really hard time. By the end, I started getting more comfortable with it because these were my classmates and I knew all of them and I got used to speaking in front of them. But in the beginning, it was very hard, and I don't find this, that right here doing YouTube, very hard for me at all. Rocking Yes asks, what color is your current toothbrush? It is white because it's a Sonicare. Random Govin says, how do you organize your videos? Think like folders and stuff. When I try, it just gets really confusing. Well, one of the recommendations or suggestions that I have is go ahead and put them in folders now, but to keep it not confusing and to keep it manageable, add them to your folders and playlists immediately when you upload them, and it'll make it a lot easier to manage. Tyler J says, Think, how do you get such awesome thumbnails? Well, I assume you mean the thumbnails like the ones on Survival and Hunger Games and Hexit. Yes, those are awesome, and yes, those are drawn by an artist and not me. The other ones are not so awesome, and those are the ones done by me. Fergie Johnson says, hey, Think, my friend's hamster had babies. Yay! And she wanted me to take one, but my mom and my dad said no. How do I make them say yes? You pretty much can't force your parents to do anything. If they don't want you to have a pet, you're not going to get one. I mean, I can't think of anything that you could do other than promise to take care of it and promise to clean out the cage and all things like that. But parents usually don't believe you depending on what age you are when you say, Mom, I promise I'll take care of it. You won't have to do anything. I guarantee you every parent has heard that in their lifetime. And every parent, for the most part, ends up taking care of that pet at one time or another. Yina Gao says, Think, did you know that more people have subscribed to you than you will ever meet in your whole life? That's probably true. I remember Vsauce did a video about exactly that, about how many people you meet in your lifetime. And I think I'll definitely meet less than, 191,000? Joyce Smullen says, hey, Think, did you hear there will be Puffle Dinos on Club Penguin? Can you believe it? You can get it and you can keep it. What color do you really want to get? I don't know. I did know about the Puffle Dinos, but I didn't know you would get to keep them after the prehistoric party that they're bringing back this year. That is awesome. The Max Dude says, hey, Think Noodles, here's my question. Have you ever been to see the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia? If you haven't, did you eat a Philly cheesesteak? What if I told you the last time I went to Philadelphia, I did both? You can do both. And yes, I did both. I have seen the Liberty Bell, although I only went once, and I've been to Philly maybe 5 or 6 times. I usually go to concerts there, but I always eat a cheesesteak. Audrey Kim says, Think, do you sometimes feel like a mascot in Club Penguin? And plus, you didn't answer my question. I'm so disappointed. Sometimes I do feel like a mascot because I get crowded and everything, but there's one disappointment for me, and that's that I don't have that little gift box that mascots have. So when people click on me and bring up my player card, they don't necessarily get anything from me unless I kind of click on their username or on their player card and send them a postcard, and sometimes I miss, and I feel really bad about that. So yeah, I do feel like a mascot, but I don't have the power and privileges of a mascot where everybody gets something from me. Weoni D says, think the old Apple YouTube app, says Insiders Network, and the new one says Think Noodles. That makes sense. The old Apple YouTube app uses some sort of API to access YouTube. It's not official YouTube. So that's probably why it doesn't see the username change. King Lion 13 says, you are so close to 200,000 subscribers. Think, what will you do as your 200,000 subscriber special? Well, I wanted to do something with my server. I just hope it's done in time. Shay Miran says, on the Mock Tropica Road to Captain Think Noodles episode 4, I think you uploaded the wrong one because I don't remember when you got anything. Yep, you're right, and a bunch of you guys noticed that. Except I didn't. Until the next day, I uploaded episode 5 in place of episode 4, and instead of taking it down, I just changed the thumbnail and changed the title, and then uploaded episode 4 the next day. And it'll sort itself out, guys. I'm really sorry about that, but thanks for giving me the heads up. Princess Cute Heart, I love you, says, hey, think almost every other YouTube Minecraft user says bad words. How do you stop yourself from saying bad words? Well, in real life, guys, sometimes I do say bad words. I'm sorry to let you down, but I'll never say them in your presence. So if I met you on the street or something, I'd be very careful. But you just have to be conscious that you're recording and that you're talking to your subscribers, which are you guys, which are young and family friendly, which is what I try to be. So I try and remain conscious and control myself to not say those words. Cheyenne Jiang says, think if you were to fix your treehouse, what would you do to it? Wow. There are so many things I want to do to my treehouse. I want to fix the bridges. I want to expand it to other treetops. I mean, I kind of want to build a hub in the center and have sort of bridges to each tree. I mean, there are so many things I would love to do with my treehouse. But I haven't gotten to them yet, but we will one day. We will fix the treehouse and improve it. Logan Osborne says, why did you say Happy New Year in UHC 10? Well, someone in the chat wrote that it was New Year's and they sort of miscalculated what day it was that we were going to be uploading that. So we just followed their lead and they were wrong. Michaela Picture says, Think Noodles, please put this on Ask Think. I'm scared to fight the Wither because if I don't kill him, he's going to blow up my world. I'm thinking of fighting him on top of the Nether. Do you think that's a good place? Well, if you watched my most recent survival episode, episode number 83, that's exactly what I did. I brought him to the top of the Nether and I used my Iron Golem army. But yeah, that's a great place to do it because he's not going to get all the way down into the Nether. And you have a pretty good chance of beating him up. Rianne McDonald says, hi, Think, on your survival house on the chest, you have pictures. How do you get them there? By the way, I love your videos. You're the one who got me into Minecraft. I'm truly grateful. Well, I'm really glad that I was able to introduce you to Minecraft. As far as the pictures, all you have to do is put an item frame on it and then put the items into the item frame. Now, on a chest, it's a little bit more complicated than just right-clicking the item frame. You just have to hold down the Shift key when you click on the chest, otherwise you'll open it. Mr. Sandman98 says, since you own the core, now I can ask you, how do you get coins? Well, you get them in a variety of ways, and as you guys can see in the background, I'm playing Blockades on the server. I'm not sure which part this is, whether it's the lobby or the game or whatever, but there are times when I'll break a block and a diamond will drop, and that is one of the coins. All you have to do is right-click it during the game, and it'll get credited to you. You'd right-click it from your hotbar. Also, if you win the game, for example, if you win on the team as a builder in Blockades, you get 10 coins added to your account as well. Real Gaming X says, Think I haven't watched all of your survival Let's Play. Oh, I'm a little bit mad. Just kidding. So I'm confused. Why did you put slabs everywhere in the Nether? Well, I guess I haven't explained it that much. But the reason I'm slabbing up the Nether is because I don't want any of those spaces to be spawnable, because those are spawnable. Well, those spawn regular mobs, which include magma cubes, lava cubes, and also zombie pigmen. And we don't want any of the spawn space to be used up by any of those regular nether mobs. We want it to be only in the special spawn space, which can also spawn the zombie pigmen and the magma cubes. But it can also spawn, of course, the wither skeletons that are the most important, and blazes as well. But we want all of the spawn space around us to be special spawn space, so we have a higher likelihood of wither skeletons spawning. And I'll show you guys how that works once I've slabbed it up the most of the way. But basically all it comes down to is when you put a slab on top of a regular block, it puts it y equals 0.5. So if you're at 60, you put a half slab, it puts it at 60.5, which is not spawnable. Now my wither skeleton farm, although it is slabs, they are slabbed at the even level. So, and that's just for visibility. So they're at the 60.0 level. So they are still spawnable. I hope that makes sense. Filipino Frog says, Mr. Think Noodles, I just loved the music you added to episode 83 of your survival Let's Plays. It was so funny. Thank you. I kind of worked hard on the editing for that. I thought I'd put a little bit more effort into it. And there were a couple of scenes and I was like, music would really make this stand out. And I put the wither sound at the beginning of the episode to kind of trick you guys. Little things here and there. I thought that it was a nice touch and I'm glad you guys noticed and appreciated it. Domi Lego 4 says, I have a great idea for the next wither fight. It is based on the fact that any mobs can ride in a minecart. So I think you can guess what it is. Okay, I don't know if that is possible. What I'll do, I can only imagine it though now that I'm thinking of it. Oh man. Okay, so yeah, okay, so if that's possible, I'll try it on a creative world or something like that before I try it in my survival Let's Play to make sure that it actually works. But that would be hilarious to put the wither in a minecart. Ciara Sapphire says, why do you sometimes call golden apples notch apples? Well, there's a slight difference. There is the regular golden apple, which uses now 1 apple and 8 ingots around it. But then there's also the enchanted golden apple, which uses 1 apple and 8 blocks of gold around it. And that's the one with the regen 4 and everything. And that's the notch apple because according to what I read a long time ago, and maybe it's like an urban legend, but when you meet Notch and kill him on a server or something like that, a PvP server, he drops one of those apples. So that's why it's called a notch apple. Although, like I said, could be a myth. But that's what I kind of heard. Dilchiz CP says, congratulations, Mr. Noodle Master, for making it to the finals in UHC Season 4. You and your team deserve to win, but you're not gonna believe what I was eating whilst watching your final battle. Chicken noodles! Chicken for Flex and noodles for you. I can't think of a better meal. Harry Joe MC Broadcast says, how do you join Ultra Hardcore Season? Is it on the Mineplex and does someone need to invite you? Well, it is sort of on Mineplex in a way. It's on their servers, but it's a private plugin and it's hosted directly by Mineplex. And in order to play, you have to be invited directly to our UHC. I'm sorry, there's no other way. David Quattro says, will the new enchanting system in 1.8 affect UHC because to enchant you need gold, ingots, and levels to enchant items? Please post on Ask Think. I'm a very big fan of UHC and I wonder what would happen. I didn't even consider that, but you're right. The new enchanting system of 1.8, if you guys haven't seen it, you have to give ingots and there are enchanting levels and there's a bunch of different things with the enchanting tables. It's going to be changing soon with 1.8 and I think they're going to be for the better. It's going to be cool, but it would affect UHC if we were playing in 1.8. The last few that we've played were in 1.6, so we're not even into 1.7 yet, let alone 1.8, so it's a few seasons off that. We don't need to worry about that just yet. Ruby Swift says, think you can't breathe with your tongue out. Yes, you can. Just my Kobe can, I can, right? And yes, I'm sure you guys just realized I did try it. All right, guys, that's it for this week's Ask Think. Don't forget to leave your question in the comments below, and also don't forget to click that like button so we can get to at least 2,000 likes. I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching, and of course, noodle on!